Hello and welcome to episode 33 of I Will Cast Anything. We're on Shakuras Plateau for a ZVT. The blue Zerg player spawning in the top right hand position is CROZ. And the red Terran player spawning in the top left hand position is Aeonnon. CROZ sent me this replay. This is the second of two that he sent me. I actually played Protoss in the previous one, so CROZ, a guy who does not dedicate all his time to one race, but who likes to keep things mixed up. This is quite an old game, just from looking at the version number. I think this is from 1.4 point something, so a significant patch ago. Not quite sure what that means in terms of actual unit differences. Probably not much, it's fair to say. Double extractor trick from CROZ to get mad drones out early on. Meanwhile, we see Terran building his wall. Look at all that mining. Here's an overlord, and I'd expect to see one of these Zerg drones come out and build something. Could be a hatchery, could be a spawning pool. Maybe they'll just all go mine. Barracks comes up in the wall, and it looks like we might see hatch first. Or, yep, it is going to be hatch first, not scouting with a drone yet. And that's because his overlord is all the way over here, so we'll be able to see the gas timings of everything. We do have a fairly early gas taken by Terran, most likely to get some Hellions out good and early to deal with those Zerglings. This SCV scout's gone to the bottom right position first of all. Had not found anything there, but it is going to head up to Zerg's base and see gas taken before spawning pool. Not long before though. This will probably be in order to get Zergling speed nice and quickly. And the SCV is going to come in, see that this gas has only just been taken, and also know that the spawning pool is not finished yet, so Terran will be pretty comfortable to do whatever he feels like, knowing that there's not going to be any early pressure. The wall is finished, a couple of Marines are out, and a second gas has been taken. There's also an orbital command being built, so let's see if Terran... No, it looks like Terran's going to be going for Hellions before expanding, but I doubt Terran will wait too long to expand, given that there's no early pressure coming. Here's the drone scout, or perhaps a third hatch. No, it is going to be a drone scout. This position here would be the more likely expansion than the close position here. And this drone is just going to take the Xel'Naga tower while a couple of queens come out. So no lings yet for Zerg. Does have enough to research that Zergling speed, but hasn't done it yet, so maybe saving that gas for something else. Meanwhile, the factory is nearly finished and will be flown over to this reactor in a short space of time to get those Hellions out, and knowing that Hellions are pretty likely, CROZ has popped down a spine crawler at his natural, just try and get anything that's going to try and run up the map, run up the ramp even. And now might we see a third taken? Couple of drones heading out. No. Where are they headed? Oh, there's a hatch been put down over here. I didn't even spot that. That drone that was hanging out in the middle of the map has expanded. Well, that is a bold move by CROZ, I have to say. That wasn't what I was expecting. Meanwhile, Hellion production has begun, but not at a terribly high pace yet. There is an expansion here, and we do finally see some upgrades researching Stim for Terran and Zergling speed for Zerg. So Zerg now does have some lings out on these Xel'Naga towers, and has a hatchery down in this left hand position. Very, very strange. Building a baneling nest, so maybe going for an early baneling bust running up from this hatch. Perhaps, could it be? Now we see Hellions coming out two at a time finally, and the second is finishing for Terran. Zerg is already mining from second, but still only on one gas, so not really going into any exciting tech, particularly soon. Looks like we're going to see some early pressure of some sort coming from this hatchery, I would assume. Here's a big wave of Lings, but there are plenty of Hellions out now. There's going to be 5 Hellions out before anything can get to Aeonnon's base. So I don't think the Terran player has much to worry about from early aggression at this tech composition, but we'll see what happens. Oh, we are seeing some tech. Lair is on the way, as is an evolution chamber. And a second factory for the Terran player, so looks like Terran will be going mech and is sending out this pack of Hellions just to scout, see if this third is here, which it isn't, but that's because it's over here. But Aeonnon doesn't know that yet. And, you know, it's unlikely that he will find out until he chases some units back to it at some point later on. There are 3 spine crawlers up here, and that's going to be more than enough to hold off small force of Hellions. But more are coming. Interesting. We have a queen and a spine to defend this third hatch at the moment. And at long last, a second gas. Oh, lots of gas for the Zerg player now. And tanks and siege tech are coming for Aeonnon and sending out more Hellions, and now might have enough to try and run past these spines, although there are a good amount of Zerglings up here. Plenty of Zerglings. And a second spine crawler going down to defend this third. Very unusual position. Combat shield coming and just build up of marines and tanks going on back at the base for Terran whilst maintaining map control with these Hellions. Doesn't look like there's much interest in pushing up into the base of Zerg at the moment. Double evolution chamber for Zerg, so I have something to spend all that recently acquired gas on. And Spire. So a good counter to the Hellions is to go into Mutalisk, also very effective against tanks. So a useful unit to have. May yet go straight for Broodlords, of course. You never can tell. +1 attack is on the way for Zerg. And Aeonnon, Terran player, is getting blue flames for all these Hellions. Lots and lots of Hellions. Looks like that tank production has stopped, so it may have just been a purely defensive tank, just to be able to siege up back at the base, and mainly going for these Hellions. And once they have blue flame, if they can run past these spine crawlers, although there's a lot more now, and there's an evolution chamber, so it's going to be tough ass to push up in here. But Lings won't last long against blue flame, and if they get into the worker line, it will be devastating. Mining quite heavily from this base down here, and throwing up lots more spine crawlers, so it looks like CROZ, does intend to just hang on to that base and mine from it. It's not necessarily a super aggressive early move from the Zerg player. What is an aggressive move is making 8 Mutalisks. Terran doesn't have much to deal with that at the moment. Doesn't have a starport down yet that I have spotted. And 11 Marines will not be much good against that many mutas. +1 armor coming, so there's going to be a good upgrade advantage for Terran, for Zerg even, should CROZ choose to go on the offensive. More tanks, armory finishing up, an engineering base, so upgrades will be coming for Zerg pretty soon, and these Hellions are in trouble. They're a little bit trapped here. They need to just run away. Spreading out to avoid the bounce attack isn't going to help that much. And these Hellions are useless as a solo force with these Mutalisks out on the field. And still just no idea about this expansion for the Terran player. Infestation Pit is coming from Zerg, and Thors are coming out. So not many tanks, but going straight to Thors, and we do see 7 missile turrets going up the moment those Mutalisks are spotted, and they are going to finish up. Oh, well, one is going to finish up. No, that's too many missile turrets. There shall be no Muta harass at this location. Although they might be able to come down here and take out some of these structures, perhaps. The Marines are going to have to run up. No starport has gone down, so not willing to directly engage air to air, but Thors will do plenty fine against that small number of Mutalisks. Zerg sitting on a pretty large bank here. Needs to think about getting his army strength up, behind in supply at the moment, getting pathogen glands, flyer attacks, getting some infestors, rebuilding some of those lost Mutalisks. I'm not sure. Units were actually lost there. No, only lost one, so pretty good. Turret range for the Zerg, for the Terran. Gosh, Terran Zerg, Zerg Terran. So confusing. And Hive Tech. And another expansion, a proper third at long last for Zerg, spending some of that cash, and might be looking to go for Broodlords now. Broodlord Infestor in the not too distant future. But a big supply advantage for Terran at the moment, and moving out with just a mess load of Hellions. 17 Hellions. They're going to run away from these tanks and Thors. Take a while for them to catch up. And with control of Zelnaga towers, Zerg knows this is coming. Has a small force of Lings here, but no Banelings yet. And just running up here to try and defend this third. Oh, and at last, Terran was just going to come and plop down an expansion here, but will have spotted all of a sudden that there was a whole mess load of spine crawlers. These Lings are running over to try and defend that base now. And here come the Corruptors, so Broodlords almost certainly coming. And those vehicle upgrades for Terran. These Blue Flame Hellions are not going to do lots against these spine crawlers. Not a fantastic choice to push up, but the siege tanks will be a different story. One spine has gone down, the Mutalisks are dead, the Queen goes down, and what does CROZ have to defend this? The last spine crawler is about to die. He's going to lose this evolution chamber, and an infestor as well. CROZ is in big trouble here. This is a big army. He's at a massive supply disadvantage, and I think this expansion is going to just die. I don't think there's anything CROZ can do to defend this. In fact, I'm not sure if there's anything CROZ can do to win this game at this point. Just has been outproduced, solidly out macroed in the first 17 minutes of this game, losing this expansion, losing lots of workers, and just has no army at the moment. Trying to build some spines here, but they're not going to get constructed. They're going to be blown up the moment they are built. These two macro hatches are also not long for this world. There's not much going on at this base. Plenty of mining going on over here, and plenty of spine crawlers too, but Precarious cling to life here. CROZ is going to lose his main, lose all of his tech structures, trying to get that greater spire to morph in, but I'm not even sure where it is, but I don't imagine it can last long. Did he build it over here? No, he did not. That would have been clever. Here it is. Well, he might get one round of Broodlords out, perhaps, with these Corruptors here, but yeah, it looks like it is just going to finish up. None of these workers are going to escape. Main base has gone down. I mean, CROZ is technically still in this game, but about to be down to one base, no buildings to speak of. Is getting 8 Broodlords morphing in, so has gotten something out of this spire, this greater spire, but those 8 Broodlords will be all the Broodlords he has for a significant period of time. Splorch. And these Broodlords should be able to come in and clean up this force. It's pretty small, even though there are some Thors on the field, and yep, running away. Well, that could be a pretty bit of a mistake from Aeonnon. If he'd gone in and cleaned up that greater spire early on, he wouldn't have had to fight these Broodlords, but as it is, these siege tanks aren't going to do anything. So CROZ has 8 Broodlords, 7 Mutas, 1 Infestor and 1 Queen, and 2 hatcheries to work with. Just a massive supply disadvantage. Getting that spawning pool back up, trying to rebuild here. Needs to spread some creep if it's all possible, but did, you know, wipe out a significant chunk of the army of the Terran player. But look at this, we've got 4 Thors and 2 tanks walking down this ramp here, and Terran has mined out his main, so at a slight actual mining disadvantage at the moment, weirdly enough, but just a massive supply advantage here. And Zerg can't make any units and has to basically rely on these Broodlords. We'll have to see. Yeah, we do. I was going to say, Vikings to take out those Broodlords could win the match for Terran, and that is what is being produced. Zerg is trying to take another hatchery here, trying to get back into this game, and also trying to move across the map with those Overlords and get away. This infestation pit is going to die with no creep, and these Vikings looking around for those Overlords, but I think they're going to escape, or at least some of them will. Some are hiding over here, but these bases will be spotted. Some bit of Musa harass going on here, trying to slow the production of this command center, and they might actually take it out. Oh, here come 2 Vikings. That's not going to be enough, and this expansion is going to die. Well, that's pretty impressive. Oh, it looks like there was an engagement with these Broodlords here. Some of them may have been taken. Nope, still 8 Broodlords, so hasn't lost any Broodlords. Drove away that force of Hellions and Thors, I think. And CROZ is suddenly playing rather well. Having been pushed to the brink of extinction, has bounced back, taken a couple of engagements there. Just barely getting those Broodlords out. Terran, desperate for cash at the moment, needs to get this expansion up. Denying that expansion even for a short space of time is going to be huge for the income of CROZ. But now these Vikings are out. They're going to hunt for the Broodlords. They're going to hunt for the Overlords. And there's nothing on the field. Having morphed all of those Corruptors into Broodlords, there's nothing on the field except Queens for CROZ that can actually fight these Vikings. So they could probably have landed there and taken out that hatch if they'd wanted to. But too worried about being ambushed by Broodlords, I expect. Here comes a little poke from these Hellions, but Broodlords will deal with those in pretty short order, and they have to run screaming into the night, being nibbled on by Broodlings. But now the Viking count is pretty high. It's going to take some excellent fungal growths and a lot of infested Terrans to hold these back. Oh, 1 Broodlord goes down, 2 Broodlords go down, and the Vikings flee away. A good fungal there, but it's going to take more than that. Oh, and another. Oh, very nice. Might get 1. Does get 1, but more Vikings are being produced. This command center is nearly finished, although I think there might have been some Muta harass there to slow that down again, but not stop it permanently. These Vikings are being repaired now by the SEVs, and down to just 6 Broodlords now. Getting some roaches out and roach speed, so desperate for any units, but still has 3 bases going, 2 of which are mining. Terran now fully saturated on this base, but has mined out his natural, so actually not a significant income advantage. In fact, quite a significant income disadvantage for Terran at the moment, despite winning all those early engagements, wiping out the main base and the natural expansion of his opponent. Is behind on income, but throwing down a ton of mules, that's going to help with that. And just this upgrade advantage is massive. Infestors have poked in to try and deal with these Vikings. I don't think they've taken any down. Now the Vikings are going to swing around and take out some of these Broodlords. Needs to get fungals. There's 1. Some infested Terrans trying to lumber across and deal with that. These Vikings are going to push in some more, and just not enough energy on these infestors to deal with this. Broodlords are falling one by one. Now the infested Terrans pop, and just 4 left now. Once all these Broodlords are dead, Zerg is out of this game, but is building some roach army now. So getting slowly clawing back into this game is CROZ. The supply gap is much smaller than it was a while ago, and going for Hydralisk Den, so getting some long range units out there, and also getting something that can be acquired without having... Oh, it does have a lair, sorry, excuse me. Got a lair over at this 3rd base. Well, the former, I guess this was actually the 4th base taken, I don't even know. Very strange expansion order for Zerg. Researching missile attacks 1, getting armor 2. And I actually don't know what that upgrade is. Maybe it's a Hydralisk upgrade. It must be. Yes, it is. Range, there we go. Learn something new every game. Not often you see Hydralisks played, so Terran wants another base here. Has a massive amount of cash stored up, but more bases needed. Neither player is actually maxed out yet. And now the Hydralisks are popping. And suddenly a supply advantage for Zerg. Suddenly the lead, if not in upgrades. Look, 3 upgrades on these stores. Blue Flame and +3 weapons. Here goes some tunneling infestors. Oh, and here come a ton of roaches. But this upgrade advantage is going to be very big. Infested Terrans go down. Oh, it looks like the final Broodlords are going to be taken out. Lots of infested Terrans coming, and as they explode, doing lots of acid damage. The last Broodlord is going to die, but so is the last Thor, and there's still a significant roach army here. And now a 10 supply advantage. And Zerg can even start to think about going on the offensive in the not too distant future. Terran is going to be back up to 2 mining bases very shortly and has a ton of SCVs. Going to be more than saturated on those 2 bases. Has a planetary up here now to help defend. Zerg just starting to mine down here, having begun to mine out the 3rd base he made. Getting some tunneling claws now. Getting some more gas. And thinking about starting to be aggressive. Has lost all of those Broodlords finally. Down to Roach Hydralisk army. Still has 5 infestors out on the field. He's done well to keep those alive. They can be invaluable in a fight. The Terran, just massive upgrades at the moment. More Thors. More Vikings. And more Hellions. See some roaches scouting around now. Take out these rocks perhaps and open up an avenue to attack into this new base for Terran. And the production advantage showing for Aeonnon now as he's able to push up to 150 supply in pretty short space of time here. These borrowed infestors are also going to be scouting around. I don't think we see any ravens out yet for Terran. No, so no detection. And we could see an attack from Zerg on this 3rd base here. It's completely undefended. It's going to be a diversionary attack. Oh, that's great infested Terran placement to try and get those tanks in trouble. And now there's a gap and the army has been distracted. Scan has gone down to try and spot those borrowed infestors, but not spotted it. Here comes the attack into the worker line. Let's see how many they can get. Oh, plenty of workers being killed here. This has been a very effective harass. Nice little 2-pronged attack there, distracting with the borrowed infestors. Getting in here. Maybe taking out some upgrade structures as well. Here come the Blue Flame Hellions. It will clean up most of those, but now they've borrowed, so there are some roaches that might escape here. With those tunneling claws. Oh, a couple go down to the scan, but a few will edge out. And another supply lead, having taken out so many workers for CROZ. This is a very back and forth game. I can't believe the CROZ has gotten to such a strong position after being nearly wiped out by Aeonnon quite near the start of the game. These last few are going to be eliminated. And trying to take a 4th base now is CROZ. Its command center has been floated back, but not as many workers anymore, although still plenty of workers. We're seeing a fight here between a lot of roaches and hydras. These Blue Flame Hellions are tearing through these units pretty effectively, but they've all gone down now. Just Thor's left. The upgrade advantage is huge, but there are too many hydras, and most of the roaches have died, but the hydras dealing massive damage with that range upgrade. Getting back up to Hive. Might get back up to Broodlords pretty soon. And both players expanding anywhere they think they can at the moment. Desperate for bases. Although both sitting on massive stacks of cash at the same time. And Zerg has now a 30 supply lead, and looks like this command center is not going to make it into life. These infestors, in fact, might ignore it completely and come and try and bungle, but there are some missile turrets up here which will spot these, although they won't be able to do anything. Yikes. Barf, barf, barf. And tons of infested Terrans wipe out everything. Will they be able to target down this command center? Yep, that is going to die. Gas is going to die, not that it really matters. And some Hydras did come in, so down to one base again, Terran. And Zerg really has the upper hand at the moment. Nearly maxed out on Roach Hydra with a few infestors. And I'm pretty sure the CROZ is going to push quite soon. Might wait for a +3 weapons. Aeonnon is starting to move out a little bit here, starting to try and re-establish some sort of map control. It's very hard to control the map when the bases are in such weird places because you don't know where you need to be all the time. But just hasn't been able to keep up with the production of his opponent. Doesn't have enough units out in the field to take on this massive, massive Roach army that's sitting here. 7 infestors. Not much energy on them, but just a ton of roaches. A ton of roaches. We are seeing Terran move out onto the map now, but this could be bad. In fact, I think this army is going to be surrounded and murdered in pretty short order. Aeonnon is trying to push up to take out that hatch, but is about to get attacked by a ton of roaches. Good encircling there. Excellent concave. Everything dies. And CROZ can now sweep through this half-built command center, take out this one. Only long-range mining going on for Terran at the moment. Trying to rush out 3 more Thors. But I think it's going to be too little too late. I think CROZ is going to win this. Coming back, having his main completely destroyed, every structure gone, having to rebuild from spawning pool up, and making it incredible, incredible play. We are seeing a counterattack here, but this base is not that useful anymore. Would be a shame to lose the Roach Warren and the spawning pool, but it doesn't matter because this army is huge. Not choosing to run straight down and take out this command center just yet. Only 7 SCVs left for Terran, so lost a lot of SCVs in the repeated attacks on this expansion up here. Is going to take out this hatchery, but there's not much mining going on here anyway. Oh, just not going to get missile attacks 3 out. That is a shame, but I don't think that blow is going to be enough. Roaches are pushing up here. Lots and lots and lots and lots of Hydralisks are on the way, and we've seen an infestor attack on this planetary, which is going to go down. And there's now no mining going on for Terran. And I think CROZ is about to go in for the coup de grace. There are some siege tanks here which are raining down a lot of damage, but the supply advantage is nearly out to 100 at the moment, and Aeonnon has given in. Must be gutted to have lost that one.